Hey everybody, Zach here at etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 base on our 2020 Chevrolet Tahoe. This is going to be a really nice bike rack, whether you're looking to take the whole family or friends out. But what's really cool about this 4-bike is you can take this extension off, these last two cradles, and you can just have it as a 2-bike if you only need it, throughout the week, or maybe you're not going on a big trip for a while and you just want to carry 2 bikes, you can do that. So I like that it's very versatile. But overall, just the quality of the bike rack and the look of it is one of the best things about it, in my opinion. Now, right away, the thing that you're probably concerned about is how big it is. And it is very large. You do have the ability to tilt it away. With one bike, it's not that challenging. I'm taller, so I can reach this. But if you had this fully loaded up with bikes, trying to tilt this away can be challenging. So it's kind of a 2-person job. So there's a lever right here that you're going to release, and then you'll lower it down. So you can see if I'm trying to reach through 3 bikes, it's pretty difficult. But just with one, you can see we can lower it down quite a bit. And with the bike we have here today, we're able to open the hatch. So you can see right there, with our pedals we have here for clip-in, no issues. The handlebars on our road bike aren't very long, but if you had a mountain bike with some larger pedals and handles, you're going to have contact there. So not going to be able to get in all the way if you have a bike like that, but with our road bike today, we're just fine. And then we can get this tilted back up. So fully loaded, it's going to be kind of a challenge too. So this is really sturdy, kind of heavy bike rack. Now the weight capacity of this, if we use all 4 cradles, so we're carrying 4 bikes, is going to be 40 pounds per bike. If we're just carrying 2 bikes, it's 60 pounds per bike. So some of those electric bikes out there, if you're carrying 4 bikes, probably not going to work out for you. But if you're only going to carry 2, you can put most electric bikes on here. There's some that get up there over that 60 pounds. But a tip is to take that battery off. It's a good idea to just remove it anyway when you're going down the road. It's going to save some of that stress on it, but you're saving a few pounds as well. Now, another thing to note before we get this bike unloaded is we have locks in each cradle. So they're opposite ends of one another and they're key-to-like. And what I like about this is we can have each individual bike locked up. So we're not locking the cradle, we're not having a big long cable that runs through all of our bikes. If we're just carrying 1 or 2 bikes, we don't have to have a big long cable looped around everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off real quick. You can see trying to reach this front bike is kind of challenging. So usually you can kind of reach from the back side there, but you're going to have to kind of squeeze in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this strap right here. What I like about this bike rack is you can fit tires up to 4.8 inches. So not every fat tire bike, but you can fit a lot of them on there. And then we're going to have one hand on our bike here. We're going to come up to this lever. And that's what makes this a frame mount, or a wheel mount design, excuse me. So with this carbon bike here, we have no frame contact, which is really nice. It's also, if you've got step-through bike, these work out well for them. If you're looking at some of those e-bikes, some of them have fenders. These don't really work out well for fenders. But we'll get that lifted up, lower that down, and then we can just remove this. And we can take a closer look at those cradles. You can look down in here, and you can see where our road bike was sitting down in that groove. Then it gets a little bit wider for maybe a standard hybrid or a mountain bike, and then it gets larger to fit those fat tire bikes. Let's get this ratcheted down, get that put in place. You don't have to put these straps back in, but I like to just kind of give it a cleaner look by putting them back in. But if you look, this goes the entire width of this side of the cradle, so it fits different wheelbases. That's really nice. Now, when it comes to how much we're adding onto the back of our Tahoe, it's quite a bit. So I'm going to give you a measurement from the back of the bumper here to the furthest out point. We are sitting at about 54 inches, so it's pretty significant. If we were just going to do the 2-bike version, this is only going to be about 32.5 inches. So quite a bit of space saved there. And then we get that nice raise in that shank, because when we're getting further out, you run that risk of having a lower ground clearance when you're going up steep hills. But I don't think there's any way. This is almost hip height. I'm a pretty tall guy, so we're getting a lot of clearance back here, which is nice, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to load our bikes. And that's just that taller hitch on the Tahoe. So 33 inches, pretty significant. Now the closest point that we're going to have to our bumper, got plenty of space to work back here. This is going to be at about 9 inches. And at this height, with bikes, or with the bikes unloaded, we can get full hatch access there too, so if we need to get anything out. Now to get this lifted up, we're not going to leave it like this if we're not having any bikes loaded. We just go to that lever again, and you can see it holds itself in place. Not a lot of movement there. I like how smooth everything is. Kuat makes really nice stuff. It works really well. This one's no different, but we're saving a ton of space there. And this measurement's going to be the same whether you're in the 2 or 4 bike configuration. And we're at 16 inches to this back knob right here. And then closest point has gotten a little bit closer. It's about 5¼ inches, but with very limited movement there, we're not going to run any risk of anything running into contact with our bumper. Ground clearance definitely changes. We're down to about 22.5 inches. Very high off the ground there. If for some weird reason you do make contact, that's all steel right there. We got this little rubber knob right here. This is what tightens up the anti-rattle device in there to keep that shake and play out of it. You get a lot of weight back here if you didn't have that anti-rattle tightened down all the way. It's going to move around a lot. So the tool-free design tied in with that hitch pin makes this really nice. So it comes with an included hex key if you do need a little bit more torque behind it. But I got this tightened down by hand, and you can see I'm moving the whole vehicle there. So the lock that's on our hitch pin there matches the locks on our bike, so we only have one key. I like that a lot. I think the finish of this, if you're comparing this to maybe the regular NV 2.0, I like the gunmetal gray and I like the black that those come in, but I think this kind of flat black, I think it looks better. It's just my personal preference. The big difference between it is this one is missing the dock stand. You can add that in, but if that's not a big deal, I think it's still going to be a really good bike rack for you. So Kuat makes really easy to use, very durable. These things last a long time. We see them on cars year round, and they hold up well. But that's going to do it for our look at the Kuat NV 2.0 base on our 2020 Chevrolet Tahoe.